Why does it feel like every time we finally get a complex black female character on screen, the studio might pull the plug? I just finished Ironheart, and as a black artist, I have some thoughts to share. Hello, this is Eva, aka Golden Muse, and welcome to my channel. So, I recently watched Ironheart, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting, I never read any of her comics. I don't really read comics like that, so this is kind of my introduction to her character beyond her appearance in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But I wasn't aware that she was kind of, I guess, less heroic than I assumed. Like, she's actually more morally ambiguous, and I found that kind of refreshing. But I guess I shouldn't have been surprised because she is an Iron Man character, and Tony Stark was far from a perfect character. But I guess for me, I didn't expect them to go there with Riri. I assumed they would play her a little bit more safe, but I'm apparently not. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see they were willing to make her more complex and interesting than just kind of a safe black girl character. And again, I haven't read the comics, so she may be like this in the comics too. And I guess they faithfully, adapted her in the MCU, if that's the case. I tend to like more morally ambiguous characters in general, so I was happy to see a young black female character be that. Like, it feels like that's not often the case when it comes to black characters, but especially black female characters in the nerdier genres. So for like the main protagonist to be that in this Marvel show was a pleasant surprise. Because at times I was like, wait, what is she doing? What's happening? Oh no, don't do that. Like, she's kind of stressing me out, but at the same time, this is complex. This is more interesting than just the predictable, I'm gonna always do the right thing all the time. Like, she's flawed, she makes mistakes, she's kind of selfish sometimes, and she's also grieving, and all of that won't make a perfect person. All of that will make someone who is prone to error, and I found her journey throughout this season, or throughout the series so far, was interesting. It does kind of suck though, because it does leave off on kind of a cliffhanger a little bit, and it sucks because this show is already handled with such lack of care. The fact that they just kind of threw out 3 episodes immediately instead of the week by week thing they usually do with their shows. And then they released the other 3 like a week after. Like, they clearly just wanted to get rid of the show, and it's so weird because it's such a big show. Like, the quality is very up there. You have Ryan Coogler involved as producer. Like, why would you just think no one would be interested in the show? It's like they don't realize people do exist outside of the weirdos and the weird, like, culture war people. Like, many of us outside of that do exist and want to watch good content regardless of who the main character is. Not all of us are easily influenced by obvious grifters. And it just sucks because there's a high chance this show might not be renewed because Disney obviously themselves aren't interested in the show, but they may use the excuse of the louder part of this Marvel fan base to say, well, no one likes the show, when it's just blatantly not true. I think the show is like #1 on Disney Plus for, at the time of my recording, it's about 2 weeks now it's been #1. It might be longer than this. The reviews are all good, the ones that haven't been like review bombed before watching the show, before the show even came out. Like, the ratings now are pretty high for both critics and audiences, so it's like there's really no reason the show shouldn't be treated with more care and respect. But I mean, it just goes to show it doesn't really matter how good quality something is sometimes, especially when, it involves okay, speaking as a black woman, I just can't help but notice that they don't exactly give black characters, especially black female characters, a fair chance. Like, look at how they just canceled the Tiana show from Princess and the Frog. Like, why would you do that knowing that obviously a lot of young black girls were ready to tune into that show, and you just basically gave them the middle finger instead? So I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to drop Riri's show too, because they clearly don't seem to value that side of their audience. I want to be wrong though. I want to hope they're smarter than that, but they already canceled the Acolyte, that Star Wars show. I didn't watch it, which I now regret because maybe my view could have mattered. But I mean, I've kind of didn't really trust Lucasfilms with the show because Disney and Lucasfilms don't really have a good track record when it comes to handling their more diverse characters. In fact, also, I personally stopped really supporting Star Wars or Lucasfilms as a whole after the kind of poor way they treated John Boyega and his character. Like, ever since then, I've been kind of done with Star Wars. So that's why I didn't watch The Acolyte. But I was actually almost going to until it got canceled because I was hearing good things about it. But yeah, when they canceled that, I was like, so they haven't really changed when it came to, actually supporting their more diverse characters. But I know many people did enjoy it, and again, they listened to the louder but smaller part of the audience and took their word for the show instead of listening to people who actually did enjoy the show and keep it going anyways. Nope, they canceled it. And then we have Armor Wars of Rhodey. Well, okay, that one wasn't actually canceled. It was more so put on hiatus because the other show it was tied to, Secret Invasion with Nick Fury, was kind of trash, which is another issue in itself there. So because of that, they're, I guess, reworking the show, but I mean, that doesn't really raise my hopes up, quite frankly, so yeah, that's going on. There was also an Okoye spin-off show from Black Panther that was supposed to happen, but that also got canceled. And then the biggest one especially is, where's Blade? Where's that movie at? It's been like 6 years now and they've got nothing still. So I don't really have high hopes from Disney, honestly, but we'll see, I guess, when it comes to Ironheart. Anyways, soapbox over. Back to Riri. Like I said, I'm very appreciative of how she was written and the fact that she was depicted as more human, or just a young woman with flaws and who is struggling to kind of navigate life as, the circumstances come across her or come upon her. And, again, it's just compelling. It's compelling when a character's not all together. And especially for her being a Black female character, like, to be written this way and not to be written to kind of like always save everyone else or have all the answers. In fact, the irony here is like the only reason she comes across all these issues is because, like, she truly does want to help people. Like, that's kind of the main thing. Like, she wants to help people in a much grander manner, but in her attempts at trying to do so, that's when she kind of, makes a lot of missteps, makes a lot of errors, kind of becomes closed off, and just kind of gets into her own, I guess, ambition. And then, of course, from that, a lot of things go wrong, and, it's part of the journey. But it's like she does have good intentions. It's just along the way, she doesn't really know how to deal with this. Like, she's a genius, but her social skills and all of that are still, a work in progress. Kind of like another character we all know and love. And again, that's fun. It's weird that there's people out there who like complain about this or say she's badly written because she's written in a kind of more gray area. And it's like when did we stop liking morally gray characters? For a while, that was like the main thing we would see on television, like just back-to-back morally gray characters as protagonists. And she's another one. I mean, I wouldn't even call her morally gray. That might be a little too far, but I mean, she does make decisions that are not fully heroic, but she as a character still obviously has a good heart. She's just, I guess she's just not the type of person who's going to hesitate if it comes to something she deeply cares about or someone she deeply cares about. And, you know, that's Riri Williams. And, you know, I didn't know this. Like I said, I didn't read her comics, so I didn't really know her personality. So I am happy that she kind of is more like Tony Stark in that way, and where has room to grow and has room to develop and become like the grand hero that Tony ended up being, you know, in Endgame. Like, she has the room to become, you know, Ironheart, like that hero that is befitting of, you know, like the Avengers, all that stuff. Not that she's not worthy of being an Avengers now. Like, in fact, she might end up joining, I guess, the Young Avengers. I don't really know too much about that, honestly. I haven't like watched all the other shows. Like, I haven't really watched what is it, like Agatha? Like, I know there's like some characters in there that I don't know, but I know they're building up to something, and I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting where they take her, and let's just hope they actually do take her somewhere. That's what I mean. I'm kind of concerned Disney might not have faith in the character, or might not have faith in continuing, you know, putting resources toward her, because I really don't know what they're doing when it comes to, you know, like I said, like, they're Black characters. I'm kind of concerned. So I really think it would be a huge mistake to just kind of scrap this character and scrap any project with this character, because I mean, like I said, this character and the show is getting good feedback, good reviews. I think, like, I mean, it's just, there's literally no reason to stop supporting the show. So I want to see her develop. I want to see what happens next, just on that level. And I also want to see like where they take her character, you know, what will happen now. Like, especially, I don't want to say spoilers, but like, she, you know, there's certain things that happen, especially at the end, that it's like, you can't just leave it like that. We got to see what's, like, how she's going to come from this. And I'm assuming it might continue in the next Avengers movie, maybe Doomsday, whenever that comes out next year. And I hope so. Like, I mean, I don't know, I have no clue, but I know Disney is pushing back on doing TV shows, but like, I wouldn't be opposed to a movie with her. Like, I mean, I think that could work too, if they want to put funding toward that. That's, you know, that's the thing. They seem to be really specific with what they want to fund now, and you know, understandable, but this works, and I think this would definitely make money. At least I think it would. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of good word of mouth. I mean, of course, other than the grifters and the ones who are influenced by the grifters, everyone else who's like, I guess, normal, those of us who are giving the show a fair chance, I think would pay to see a movie to continue their story, because we all saw how it ended, and we all are like, we got to know what's going to happen next. So I think there's a fair chance. I mean, I hope there's a fair chance, rather. Anyways, about the art. So, you know, I kind of depicted her, you know, kind of like what I was saying. Like, I liked how human she felt, and how, you know, flawed, and how just she's kind of figuring things out. And that's why there's this reference I found. And I'm like, this kind of feels like her. This has the essence of like her personality or character. And I like the, I don't know, the kind of just like downtrodden, but also just almost like lost energy, like this, at least this frame of her had. So I wanted to paint that. I felt like that that was pretty much the character for me, and that's the elements I liked about her character the most, like even more than like the Iron Man stuff, even though all that was fun, but her character, like, that's what intrigued me most, and that's what intrigues me for any character, mostly their personality and all of that. Like, the action stuff is like the icing on the cake. So yeah, I liked Riri. I want to see more of her, and let's hope Disney agrees. And I guess we'll see, I guess. So with that, I will leave you guys to the rest of this artwork, and yeah, if you guys like this video, feel free to like, and if you really like these videos, feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you along. So thank you guys, and I'll leave you to watch the rest of this piece.